March 20th, 2018, WWE broke the word that Daniel Bryan has officially been cleared to return to action in the WWE. Many people thought this was a far gone truth that we would never hear. Thought that this was something that was only going to be seen again in WWE video games as far as Daniel Bryan wrestling. So now we are going to bring to you some fantasy matches that are no longer possibly fantasy. Hey guys, it's Tim from Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and we're here with another countdown video. Daniel Bryan has been cleared to return to the ring, and Nick and I are going to talk about the top 10 matches we want to see for Daniel Bryan in WWE. Nick, what's going on?
What is going on, everyone? Yes, we will be breaking down 10 dream matches that we have that we would love to see Daniel Bryan have in the WWE. Now, the one rule we have is that has to be two rules, has to be singles match, and number two, cannot be anyone that he has faced in the WWE before. Without further ado, let's get started.
I want to preface one other thing. This is our opinion, so if you don't agree, let us know in the comments below. Because like I said, it's all our opinion. You may agree, you may not agree, but don't bash us if you don't agree. Just saying, just saying.
Number 10. Johnny Gargano. So we put Gargano at number 10 because he isn't a main roster guy, but this would still be a fun, extremely technical match to watch. Johnny Gargano, who's known as Johnny Wrestling for his amazing wrestling abilities. Daniel Bryan, who is just outstanding in the ring when it comes to grappling. This would be a really, really fun match to see in the WWE.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I believe, I'm going to look this up at the time right now. I think we have seen Johnny Gargano versus Daniel Bryan on the Indies. I actually think that it was filmed right before Daniel was signed to the WWE, during the Wrestling Road Diaries DVD with Colt Cabana. And if it's what I'm thinking of, that match then was a really good match. And both the wrestlers since have grown in the ring to become even greater performers. So this match is... yeah, most are going to say, oh, rank that match higher for sure. Yeah, but at the same time, he's not yet on the main roster, so the possibility of it isn't as likely, even though we do believe Gargano should be on the main roster sometime this year. But just because he is a current NXT star, it just makes that possibility a little less lower.
Exactly, and it was at Absolution 5 that
Yes.
Bryan Danielson and Johnny Gargano took each other on. So, if that match is any indication how good a match here in WWE could be after both of them have had, especially Gargano has had time to really work on his career, that'll be a fun match to see. Number 9, Chad Gable.
So Chad Gable is an interesting one here we thought of because his style meshes well with what we know as Daniel Bryan's style. Now saying that, Daniel Bryan's style could change. Now that he's back in the WWE, he may tone things down, but at the same time, Gable works with that. Gable is somebody you can see go 1,000%, just balls to the walls out there, but at the same time, he's got that amateur wrestling background that allows him to know when to slow it down, to know when to be methodical, and with both men being very, very highly technical wrestlers, I think this match would be something to be seen.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen Chad Gable pull great matches out of guys that don't typically have great matches. So if you put a guy like Daniel Bryan against a guy like Chad Gable, it's going to be really, really fun to watch. And I honestly think this is a match that I could see happening. This is a match that I absolutely see happening as one of Daniel Bryan's first few matches back on SmackDown. I see that happening.
For sure.
Number 8, Kurt Angle. Now, Kurt Angle has also recently been cleared after some worries, but we haven't seen him in a singles match yet. So I think a match between two guys that have both been freshly cleared, that understand that they can't do what they did in the past, but can still make a fantastic, great match with great storytelling in it, like these two veterans. I think this match is something that a wrestling fan wouldn't complain to watch, whether you're a fan of WWE or not. I think you're going to love this match when it happens, because it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like we said with Chad Gable, Kurt Angle's another one that he's got that great technical style to him. He's got that amateur wrestling background. He knows how to go flat out. He knows how to slow it down. He knows his limitations, and he is somebody that is great at adapting to his opponent, no matter if his opponent is somebody as big as the Big Show or as small as AJ Styles. Not trying to say AJ small, maybe like a Rey Mysterio small. He can work,
Exactly.
He can work against any style. He can work against any size competitor, whether they're bigger or smaller than him. And if Daniel Bryan is a little hindered going forward, Kurt Angle is somebody that we know will be able to work with that and adapt with that.
And another thing I want to mention, we did see Kurt Angle in his first match back go through a table.
Yeah.
So, not saying Daniel Bryan's going to immediately go through a table, but what I'm saying is I think these are two guys, especially if Daniel was to wrestle Kurt Angle, Angle would be very good at being able to be hard-hitting, impactful, without being an endangerment almost to Daniel Bryan.
Exactly.
Number 7, Rusev.
So Rusev comes up here at number 7 as somebody that is just like, he's great. Daniel Bryan is that serious wrestler that knows how to add comedy, and that's what we've seen from Rusev over the last year and a half or so. Rusev is somebody that can be serious as all serious in the ring, but when you need to add that slight bit of comedy to the match or the segment, he can pull it out and pull it out greatly. So I think you're going to have a good hard-hitting match here, even if it doesn't need to be. And you can also have that element of, wow, these guys didn't just entertain me in the ring, but the stuff leading up to this match is something to be seen as well. Because you have Daniel Bryan, like I said, who's not afraid to make fun of himself. And Rusev, we've seen with all this stuff with the Mixed Match Challenge, also not afraid to make fun of himself and make himself look goofy to build up a match. So I think the build up to this match is what would really, really intrigue me specifically.
Definitely, I think one of the more important things is that all matches don't have to be serious technical matches. They can be fun matches with really fun spots that has hard-hitting action. I think Rusev is the number one guy you would want to go to for that scenario because he's not afraid to go out there and look funny, but also know when, his facial expressions are so good because he can go from having fun to that switch of like, I'm going to crush you. So I think that's something that is going to be very important. I think that's going to be something that we're going to be seeing happening. I would love to see this match happen. Daniel Bryan, Rusev, let's make it happen.
On Rusev Day.
On Rusev Day. Number 6, Samoa Joe. Now, we've definitely seen Samoa Joe versus Bryan Danielson, but we've never seen Samoa Joe versus Daniel Bryan in the WWE. Both have traveled the world. Both have wrestled for elite companies, and both have made their names as big as they are today. Now, seeing these two guys lock up, even if it's just one more time in the WWE, would not only be fan service to the people that follow these guys' careers for so long, but for new people that are now being introduced to Samoa Joe, because they don't know his TNA work or his Ring of Honor work, who kind of like me, was almost quote-unquote robbed of Daniel Bryan's time in the WWE because I ended up falling out of wrestling for a short while. This would be a match that would not only please hardcore fans, but would please the casual fans, and it's just going to be great.
Right, like you said, that we've seen probably more than 2 or 3 times Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, I may say, versus Samoa Joe in Ring of Honor. I don't doubt that that match has been done a couple times, but with WWE, it's something different. It's a new, you can breathe new life into this. You can do something that you haven't done before, put it on a bigger stage, put it out there in a different, I guess you could say, medium, and you can do things because Samoa Joe doesn't fight like a normal heavyweight.
No, not at all.
And so there's the dynamic of Daniel Bryan taking on this super heavyweight, if you want to call him that fights like a cruiserweight almost. And so that is a different dynamic as far as anybody else we do have on this list. Because, again, Samoa Joe, you've seen him dive over the top rope. I've seen him in TNA corkscrews over the top rope. What other big guys doing stuff like that? And so it's just another dynamic of somebody that Daniel Bryan can take on that is not going to be like any other match we've seen from him in the WWE because of said opponent.
Number 5, Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn comes here as somebody, in my opinion, it's probably the overall most just solid wrestler in the WWE. You need
Oh, yeah.
somebody to go out there and put on a good match. You need somebody to go out there and just put on a tremendous professional wrestling match. You call Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn can go out there and work any style. Like we said with others before, he can work any style, but he's also good at adapting to the crowd. Sami Zayn, we've seen in multiple matches with Sami Zayn, the match is going one direction, and he doesn't quite show it, but he does a little, notices that the crowd's kind of turning one way or the other, and he knows how to flip that switch and get that crowd right back in there, or turn that crowd to where, okay, this ain't working, I know what to do. And even looking at it on a platform of as far as building up the match, Sami Zayn again is one of the better quote-unquote characters in the WWE and talkers on the microphone. I mean, look what he's done with his character. He went from the biggest white meat baby face in the world to the most annoying heel in the world. So, I mean, with him being able to adapt his character to what it needs to be, he can go out there and do what he needs to do against a Daniel Bryan, whether they want babyface versus babyface, or they want babyface versus heel. There you go right there. You've got Sami Zayn who can play either side of the role.
There you go. He said it all. It would just be a fun match. Sami Zayn is a guy that can develop to the crowd, and who wouldn't want to see Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn right now?
Exactly.
Number 4, Finn Balor. Now, Finn Balor has just been a wrestling machine ever since NXT, and seeing him go up against a guy like Daniel Bryan would just be great. It's another version of two styles clashing against each other in a good way. It's not like one's different than the other, but it's just different to bring a different kind of flavor than any other match on this list. While Finn isn't the most technical guy on the planet, he's still very, very hard-hitting. He's still very quick and agile, and I think that would just be a great match for a guy like Daniel Bryan once he gets further into this return in WWE. Maybe it's not something that happens right away. It's something that you build to over time, but it's something that should happen, and it should happen in the WWE.
Right. I mean, Finn Balor is somebody that he will probably be one of the more faster-paced matches we see from Daniel Bryan if this does take place. And that's good because you got to have all those different types of matches. You want to see Daniel go out there and face all different types of opponents. So whether, you know, they're going out there on a Raw or a SmackDown or a big stage like a pay-per-view type show or a Big Four, I think this would be good because it will be different than any of the other matches we could see from Daniel Bryan on the point of this can be the more faster-paced match that we would like to see, like we've seen from Daniel Bryan in the past. Now, I know he's probably going to slow things down going forward, but there's no reason in having that one high-paced, high-energy, high-action, high-flying match. And I think this opponent in Finn Balor is the one guy that you can do that with perfectly.
Number 3, Kevin Owens.
So just like with Samoa Joe, we've probably seen Kevin Owens versus Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson a couple times in Ring of Honor and on the Indies. But this is something that WWE fans would really want to see because there's almost, like I should have said with Sami Zayn, a built-in story here. There's been the tension. There's been the quote-unquote are they friends thing going on between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And just like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens is another guy that can adapt his character to whatever the situation needs to be. He can take a match, listen to the crowd, hear the reaction, and just change exactly what he needs to change in that moment. But the one thing that puts Kevin Owens so high up on the list is that Kevin Owens is just a machine as far as he can go out there and have matches with anybody and anyone, and no matter what style the guy he's wrestling is, it's going to be great. We've seen him go out there and have main event matches against John Cena, and then we've seen him go out there and have freaking dirt poor, I don't care matches against freaking Juice Robinson or whatever. I forget his name when he was in NXT. And both matches were great. And that's because Kevin Owens knows how to work to his opponent and work the crowd to make it seem like, hey, this guy he's facing, not saying Daniel Bryan's not great, but with Kevin Owens, he can make a not great guy look good in the ring.
Exactly. They have that built-in feud already. It would almost be a match that we'd be kind of sad if we didn't see it. So I'm excited to see that take place. Number 2, AJ Styles. Who wouldn't? Who in their right mind wouldn't want to see AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan in 2018? Both of these guys have had very similar backgrounds, traveling throughout the world wrestling for so many different promotions. And now, the opportunity of getting to see AJ versus Daniel Bryan is absolutely incredible. This would be a match that would burn any house in the world down.
Now, see, some people might say, AJ Styles is number 2. Why not put him at number 1? And I'll make that clear here in a minute. But the reason, AJ Styles is so high on the list, because AJ Styles is probably the overall greatest performer they have in the WWE. Yet we have seen this match at least once on the indies before. Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson taking on AJ Styles. Again, AJ Styles would kind of be similar to the Finn Balor match, but where I said Finn would be just full out, fast-paced match, AJ is somebody that can slow things down a little bit, that can be a little more methodical, and because he's got that background of working multiple different styles all over the ring, or all over the world, that right there is what can bring this to a huge stage, that can just make this match be that great. Both guys are not, quote-unquote, known as high flyers, but they do high-flying moves at times that just looks spectacular. So I think you have their styles that are a little similar but different in the right way that can just make for an amazing, amazing match.
Absolutely. And you know what else would make for an amazing match? Number 1, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Now, I know, like I just said, some may say put AJ number 1, but the reason I think Shinsuke should be number 1 is because this match has never happened. Not just saying it never happened in WWE, it's never happened ever in the history of professional wrestling. Shinsuke Nakamura and Daniel Bryan have never squared off in the ring, in a singles match, in a tag team match, in anything. And that's why I think this needs to be the number 1 dream match of all Daniel Bryan fans, because it's not like some of these other matches where you can go, oh yeah, I saw that in freaking Ring of Honor, or I saw that in AIW, or I saw that in some low-rent indie show in Northern California. No. You can't go back and watch this on YouTube. This is something that is a dynamic that we haven't seen. This is something that we don't have any sort of, well, this match went like this last time, so maybe it'll be similar. No. We don't know what this match can be. Nakamura is one of the better performers in the WWE, and I think that the style of the Japanese strong style up against AJ or Daniel Bryan and his technical wizardry, his technical magnificence, is a styles clash that needs to be seen.
This is a match that will be a career-defining match for both men. It will be a match that is talked about in WWE, in wrestling history, for the years to come after it. That is why number 1 is Shinsuke Nakamura. That is our list. Tell us down below if we missed anything. And are you guys excited to see Daniel Bryan back? Because God knows I am.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below if you agree with our list, if you disagree with our list. Maybe you agree, but you would rank it differently. Or maybe you would take one guy out and add somebody else in. Let us know in the comments you don't have to put 10, maybe 4, 5, 6 dream matches for the now newly cleared Daniel Bryan.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember to follow us on Twitter at PWUnlimited. And we will see you guys for the next countdown video.